None of these books will literally put you back together again. Honestly, none of them. So you'll read them, cry, think you're gonna be okay afterwards. You won't be. And if you are, please DM me so that I can also be okay, because clearly I'm not okay with the ending to these books. But if you are, come to my DMs, talk to me, give me a happily ever after, give me a solution so that we can talk about it. Heyy Sweeties, Gampa. If you don't already know by now, welcome back to our channel. This is probably one of my, or it's gonna be one of my favorite book rec videos. So I will be recommending books that will make you cry, literally ugly sobbing. That is how much these books will literally break you. The thing about these books is, yes, you'll be crying because you finished the book, or during the book was painful, fine, but that will not be the last time you cry over these books. Literally 3 months later, when you're just doing your errands or just sitting at home minding your own business, you will think about this book and you will cry. 3 months after reading it, 3 months after finishing it, 3 months after it broke you, it will still break you. And it's gonna take you a hot minute for you to finally recover from this book. And I'm saying this because some of these books I read 2 years ago, still crying over them today. 2 years ago, still crying now. So without further ado, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have anything to say. Remember, constructive criticism, I repeat, constructive criticism. Let's start. We're just gonna get straight into it because these are my Roman Empire books. These are the books that if I get amnesia somehow, I would run straight to my bookshelf and read these books all over again for the first time. Even if they broke me, I'd still read them. I'd still reread them. So let's start. The first book I'm going to talk about is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Theo. Now, this is a YA book. So this is about a girl who tragically loses the love of her life and is trying to not move on, but to live with the fact that he's no longer with him. But one day, while she's down and just going through it, she picks up the phone, decides to call him just to hear his voice. I don't know if she wanted to hear a voicemail or what, but he ends up answering it. She finally gets to talk to him, but at the same time, it's a thing of they can only talk at specific time. And I think when he called her, she called him. It is a devastating book about loss and not being able to move on, not wanting to move on. And when I tell you the epilogue of this book is the reason why I can't move on, because I think it's just in my head, I'm thinking the epilogue is supposed to like be the end point of the book. It's supposed to set you free. It's supposed to be like, okay, fine. It's supposed to give you like a happily ever after type of moment. This one broke me. This one has no happily ever after. This one literally left me feeling like I have a void in my heart. Something's wrong with me. That's how the epilogue was. So yeah, you're gonna love it. Next book I'm going to talk about is Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. Now, this was the first book to ever make me cry. Like, this was the first, I think this was my first ever thriller book as well. This is a thriller, and it just takes you, it just shows you, how do I say this? The love of a mother. That is the best way to describe it. Like, the love a mother has for her child and what she's willing to go through just for her child to be happy, just for her child to succeed. And I don't want to cry about it now because with this book will break you. So Saving Noah is about a boy named Noah who is an A student, loved by his parents and his town, who could do no wrong. Literally, this boy was supposed to be a star and thrive all throughout his life, until he confesses to molesting girls during his swim team practice. And because of that, he is sentenced to 18 months in a juvenile rehabilitation center, right? And then we have his mother, who is not willing to let him go, who is not willing to let him be alone and struggle and go through all of these things alone. Whereas her husband, Noah's father, is like, that is no longer my son. He has cut all ties with him. So in this book, the mother's name is Adriana. So in this book, Adriana just faces the battle of everyone in the community is now against her and her son. Everyone sees them in a different light now because of what her son has done. And at the same time, she has to make a life-changing, heartbreaking decision. But now the question is, just how far will you go to protect your son? When I tell you this, Miss Lucinda Berry, I think all of her books, I haven't read any of her books, this was the only book I read, they have people crying, they have people sobbing. I think one thing I'll forever take away from this book is that a mother's love is unconditional. It is strong, it is powerful, it is resilient, because the things this mother went through for the sake of the child, because of the child. Read this book. For my thriller people that love thrillers, read this book, but at the same time you will sob. The next book we're going to talk about is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I think you've seen this book all over Book Talk, or if you haven't, this book is phenomenal, as you can see by the amount of tabs I have on it. This is an LGBTQ plus representation, first of all, which I think is amazing. I don't know, should I say it's YA as well? I don't know, but this is the story of Patroclus and Achilles. I still can't say Patroclus without blabbing it, without breaking it down, but then yeah. This is a story about friendship. This is a story about love. This is a story about, even though everyone seems to be against it, as long as we are for it, then why should we care? Just facing the odds just to be with the love of your life, no matter whether they believe, no matter what they stand for, you will never allow anyone else to try and tarnish their name or to try and break who they are because you adore them. Now, Patroclus is I think he has a lot of siblings now, but he is exiled by his family, and that's when he meets Achilles, right? They become friends. Because of that friendship, it blossoms into something beautiful, something amazing. But one day Achilles is kidnapped, and Patroclus decides to go and save him. While doing this, they form a bond that is unbreakable, a beautiful, strong, yet precious bond. But as the trials and tribulations come into play, you realize that sometimes because of love, you are willing to sacrifice yourself for your person. This book, this is my favorite thing about this book. They like one person who wrote this book literally quoted and said, "I finished it with my heart beating. It's brilliant and so is she." You are going to go on an emotional roller coaster with this book. I think within the ending, I think the thing about it, the last few chapters of this book will have you angry. It will have you sobbing, but at the same time you will be so mad because you're trying to understand why did he do this? Why couldn't this just have happened like this? Why didn't he just let him go? So basically, emotional roller coaster, like I said. It was a 5-star, actually infinity amount of stars for me, and you're gonna adore it. The next book we're gonna talk about, I think if you know me, then you know that this book was coming, and that is A Little Life by Hanya Yangira. Now this book is everything. Best way to describe it, this book is everything. This book is magical, it is beautiful, cool, and inspirational. Now this book follows 4 friends that have just graduated and are trying to live their best life in New York City, but everyone has their own story, from William to JB, and who else? What's the other one? We have Malcolm and we have Jude. Now, the reason why this book actually broke us is because I think it shows you just how inhumane the world is. It shows you just how, even though you might know someone, you don't truly know what they've went through. Like, you don't know their past down to the detail of them and their gory secrets that they're hiding. And with this book, I think we can all realize, I think after reading this book, one thing I learned is the fact that you don't know what people are going through. Like, you genuinely don't know what people have went through, the sacrifices, the unjust things that have happened to them, and how flippin' terrifying people are. Like, how sick, demented, and disgusting humans are to destroy another living being, another human like that, to belittle them, to break them till they feel like they're nothing. And this is the first time I actually say this about a book, but this is a book that made me realize that, okay, it was a book where I felt bad when the MMC, one of the MMCs, wanted to commit suicide, wanted to themselves. I felt bad at the fact that they did not succeed. Like, I wanted him to succeed because of the things he went through. Even as an adult, when he finally thought, okay, fine, I found salvation, I found something that makes me happy, the people that made me happy, there's certain moments where you were like, can't he get a break? Can't he just be happy? And I think one thing the author tried to do was give us a happy ending, because we thought it was heading there. It was heading to a point of, okay, everyone's happy now, everything is just hunky-dory, everyone is okay. We were wrong. We were so wrong, because she gave us happiness and then gave us suffering after suffering and then suffering, and then she just stabbed our hearts, and then you're like, that is it. Just read this book. Read this book. I know it's about how many pages is it? 720 pages. It is worth it. It is worth it. I think a lot of people were like, they couldn't get into it or whatever. Fine, find the audiobook. Listen to it then. I don't care, but read this masterpiece of a book. That's just one of the books that have me sobbing every time I think about it. Anyways, we are on to our last books, and these are my favorite books of all time. Like, not one of my favorite books, these are my favorite books. Okay, now the books in question are The Ravenhood Trilogy by Kate Stewart. Now, my Roman Empire books, these are my holy grail. These are, if I die, bury me with these books type of energy. Yeah, so we have 3 books in the series. The first one is Flock, the second one is Exodus, and the last one is The Finish Line. Now, this story follows, oh my god, I don't want to think about it. Okay, this is an interconnected series. It is a series where you cannot skip the first one and read the second one. No, you need to read the first one, the second one, and then the third one. Now, a lot of people are like this. A lot of people said this is a series where it has a happily ever after, but you are still dead inside. The happily ever after, yeah, it's happily ever after, but you are still broken. I think the author tried to put us back together again. Yeah, that was impossible. Like, you fall in love with someone and then stuff happens, and then you try to move on, but you can't, because that someone is still everywhere, in each and every print, in each and every moment. That person is with you. And till this day, I can't actually give a book review on this book. I can't even talk about this book without spoiling it for you, because I have to mention the names. I have to mention what happened to them. I have to mention their grief. So all I'm gonna say is go read these books. Go read this book. If I have ever recommended a book to you, let it be this one. Let me be the reason why you read these masterpieces. Let me be the reason why you fell in love with these books. Oh. My babies. Anyways, that is the end of our video. Thank you for sticking till the very end. See you next time. Mwah. Have an amazing day.